Hey folks, I'm Melhorn. Today we're going to talk about spinning reels and bait casting reels and whether or not the old spinning reel will work for catching catfish. I've done a lot of videos on this topic and I've talked about it in length in all of these videos, but new people coming to the channel. I've got over 1,000 videos now on fishing, so it's hard to find stuff unless you really do some digging. But I've had a lot of questions lately asking about spinning reels, so I figured it's time to discuss them. I've got two reels here, Catfish Pro reels, a spinning reel, and the Catfish Pro Baitcaster. You see Baitcasters a lot, and you know it's what a lot of people use, and there's reasons why. We're going to talk about it real quickly, but people ask about spinning reels because they're easier to operate. The bottom line is these things can be a little bit of a booger to cast, and people are intimidated by them, and I understand that. So they ask about these, and that's kind of what I'm going to talk about. What this is about is a little more of why these spinning reels are absolutely fine for catching catfish. Now, right now, the only size that Catfish Pro makes is this 600 CTS, which is basically in the 6,000 class. There's kind of a numbering sequence on these things that starts with 100s and goes all the way up to, I think, some 10,000 series reels, and it basically has to do with the size. This is kind of mid-range out of all of it, but it's more than enough to catch any catfish with. The positive points on a spinning reel are, one, this handle can go on either side. One of the things about buying a bait caster is the handle only goes on one side. It's right or left. Most of the time it's on the right side. With a spinning reel, they come with them on the left hand side, which is the way a lot of people fish them. But you can undo this screw here on this side. Comes out really quickly, really easy, threaded in there a long way. You can pull this handle off and you can put it over onto this side and put the screw back in, and you're set to go. So that's a big advantage. Like I said, the bait casting reels, those things are hard to find in a left-handed version, so that can be kind of a good selling point on the spinning reels, is that you've got one that you can, flip the handles over on. The other thing is the amount of drag that you can put on one of these reels. You control the drag up here with this little knob up in the front. That is one of the big selling points on using a spinning reel. Generally speaking, dollar for dollar, they have more drag than a bait casting reel, believe it or not. These things, usually you can put a lot of leverage on a fish. So I'm not a big proponent of putting a lot of drag on fish, because I think you can pull a lot of hooks doing that. But if you're looking for something that has some oomph and has some dig, these are good to go with. Now, it can be a little bit more cumbersome coming out here to adjust it. I don't know though. Some people say this is easier. Some people say this is harder. You control the drag on a bait caster with this little mechanism right here. These things, some people like them, some people hate them. This you can adjust real easily right up here on the front. The other thing that is neat on this one, this Catfish Pro reel, is that it has a bait feeder here in the back. What this does is, it's almost like when you take a bait casting reel and you knock it into gear, or you knock it out of gear and you hit the clicker. When line comes off, you'll hear that click, and it doesn't come free spooling off. It puts tension on it so that you don't bird nest this reel. You can do a similar thing on these Catfish Pro reels, and there's other models that have this. They're hard to find though. This is called a bait feeder. And what this does is, while the reel is engaged, you flip this mechanism back here and it allows this spool to spin. Knock it out of gear, it doesn't spin. Knock it out in gear, it spins. So your bail is flipped, your line is going out, but if a fish takes that bait, it will allow the line to come off. You can adjust how much tension you have on it back here. You can crank it back very loose so it barely feels it. See how that's spinning? Or you can tighten it down a lot. This is not the drag though. This just controls how easily this line comes off the reel. And then you can either knock it into gear and boom, you're setting the hook, or as soon as you crank the handle, boom, it knocks it into gear. That was a question some people had recently, was whether or not cranking the handle will knock it into gear. And yeah, you can do it either way. But this is a good little deal here for not only catching catfish, but also carp. Some people have used these for carp fishing and some other species of fish, to where they want the fish to be able to pick up, take the bait, and run off with it, feeling very, very little resistance. So those are some positive points about these things. Some of them come with interchangeable spools. Catfish Pro at this point does not sell interchangeable spools, but I may twist their arm if that's something you guys like, to where basically you can undo this little knob out here. This is your drag knob on the end of it. Pull the spool off and put a different one on here. Now you may ask, why would I do that? Let's say you're fishing with monofilament line and you want to switch the braid for some vertical fishing or some bottom bouncing. It would be very easy and convenient to do that with an interchangeable spool, where with a bait casting reel, you'd have to take all the line off. So that's kind of one of the other positives about some of these reels. And like I said, they both catch fish. It's just whatever little conveniences you like. Generally speaking, the spinning reels are much less expensive than the bait casting reels, and that can be a deciding factor for a lot of people. So hopefully that answers a few of the questions I've been getting. I love getting questions from you guys. Feel free to send them in. Feel free to ask down in the comments. I love getting people asking questions because it shows that there are people desiring information about these different things, and that's really what I want to do with my channels, have a positive impact on people. And one of the best ways to do that is by education and giving them information they need to catch more fish, do it effectively, and do it smart. So appreciate you watching. We'll catch you out on the water.